Let me paint you a picture. It's 11 p.m. You close your laptop, probably later than you wanted to. You fall asleep within minutes because you're exhausted. You sleep 7, maybe 8 hours, and then you wake up and you're still not feeling like you even really slept. You tell yourself that it's stress, that it's a late meeting, maybe you scrolled for too long last night. And while those may be factors, there's a deeper mechanism that most of us don't think about. Today, I want to talk about the science of breathing and sleep physiology in a way that explains how the power of your breath can impact what happens during sleep. So let's go. I'm Dr. Guzman, triple board certified sleep medicine physician and the founder of Dream Life Medicine and Wellness. I hear all the time from busy entrepreneurs who are highly driven and productive. They say, I have no problem falling asleep at night. I hit the head on the pillow and immediately I'm asleep. And that could be because of this chronic exhaustion and fatigue from your nervous system being in fight or flight all day. It starts with a simple question. How are you breathing right now? Not big dramatic breaths, but right now in this moment. Are you breathing through your nose, through your mouth? Is your breathing slow or fast, shallow? Do you find yourself sighing a lot or yawning a lot during the day? Here's why that matters more than you think. Patrick McKeown, in his book, The Breathing Cure, describes 3 dimensions of breathing: the biochemical, biomechanical, and psychological. When any of these is off, and for most of us high-performing, chronically stressed individuals, all 3 of these may be off at any one point. Our nervous system never fully shifts into the state that it needs for deep restorative sleep. The most surprising part, the way that you breathe during the day sets the stage for how you breathe at night. When we think about oxygen, we think more is better. Take a deep, big breath, fill those lungs, and you'll feel better, right? Not exactly. There's something called the Bohr effect, and this is how that works. Your blood delivers oxygen to your cells, but it can only actually release the oxygen in the presence of enough carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is not just a waste gas that we make when we process oxygen in the body. You can think of it as a key that unlocks oxygen delivery into the cells. So when we breathe too fast or too shallow or through our mouth, we blow off way too much CO2. And when the CO2 drops, the oxygen stays stuck to the red blood cell. That means it's not getting released into the brain, into the muscles, into the organs. So the blood oxygen reading can look fine on a pulse oximeter, but our cells can be running on empty and not actually getting the oxygenation that they need. This is why so many high achievers feel this vague, persistent fatigue that sleep just doesn't actually fix. It could be that our oxygen is not being delivered to where it needs to go. So how does this impact sleep physiology? When we breathe through our mouth often during the day and especially during the night, we're blowing off a lot of CO2. We're essentially hyperventilating. And the CO2 levels, the carbon dioxide levels, are low. That activates the nervous system subtly. The body interprets it as, hey, we're breathing fast. That means danger is present. But yet we're in bed trying to sleep. But our nervous system doesn't know that. If our breath is giving our brain the signal that we're breathing fast, that we need to gear up to run away from a lion or whatever the threat is. So good sleep isn't just about being unconscious and waking up the next day. It's a very active, highly organized process where your brain is going from light sleep to deep sleep to REM sleep. And deep sleep is when we detoxify our brain from a lot of different toxic waste products that are made during the day just naturally by being alive. In REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, we process emotions and memory. We need both in order to be our creative, wonderful, happy beings that we are. So the quality of our breath directly impacts the quality of our sleep and how much time we spend in each of these sleep stages. When we breathe through our mouth at night, it can cause us to snore. It can cause us to collapse the upper airway. And it can cause disordered breathing during sleep, which causes the brainwaves to be subtly awakened and triggered. Overall, this fragments the quality of your sleep. That means you wake up in the morning feeling like you barely slept, even if you clocked and you hit those 7 or 8 hours that we recommend. Let's be real for a second. As highly driven people, we are exceptional at overriding our body's signals. We've trained ourselves to push through fatigue, ignore tension, interpret anxiety as excitement. And that's part of why we are effective and we're good at what we do. But when we don't breathe optimally, we can create a constellation of symptoms that even the most self-aware high performers write off as just stress or as just how I am and I can't do anything to change this. That may look like fatigue even after enough sleep. brain fog, slower decision making in the afternoons, impaired memory. Things are just not sticking the way that they used to. Waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. and laying there with your mind racing and not being able to go back to sleep. And the most frustrating one may be the sense of overactivation, of anxiety, of constant stress that we're just not able to calm down. It might also look like tension, muscle tension in the neck and the shoulders and the upper back or the lower back, headaches, which can actually be caused by low carbon dioxide when we overbreathe. That causes vasoconstriction and can result in headaches. All of these symptoms could be a manifestation of breathing that's not effective, that's not delivering oxygen where it needs to, that's dysregulating our sensitivity to carbon dioxide, that's impacting the state and the function of our nervous system, blood flow to the brain, our immune system, and the physiology of our muscles. So everything works together. And perhaps if we fix the breath, we're stabilizing the entire physiology. Here's something really interesting about the nervous system. Your autonomic nervous system shifts from fight or flight, a stress response, into a relaxed, calm, rest and digest response. And the breath is key in modulating that shift. You may have noticed this in your dog, for example, with stress, yawning. They get really stressed for some reason, and then all of a sudden they're yawning. So they're opening up the airway, taking a deep breath, and that regulates that nervous system to be in a more relaxed state. For an entrepreneur who's always running on high output all day, this transition from sympathetic fight or flight into parasympathetic can be very difficult. And it's actually what needs to happen in order for us to get deeper quality sleep. Working with your breath is your direct input into the nervous system. Slow nasal diaphragmatic breathing, breathing into the belly, around 6 breaths per minute, can activate the vagal nerve, that rest and digest response. A lower heart rate, lower cortisol, and a higher heart rate variability. Here's where you can start. And none of this requires a device or a supplement or a subscription or anything like that. Number 1, start with awareness. Tonight before bed, notice, are you breathing through your nose or your mouth? Is your breathing quiet and slow, or can you hear it? Can you go 30 seconds breathing so lightly that you can barely notice it? That's the baseline that we're aiming for. Number 2, you might consider taping your mouth at night. Now, this is not medical advice. Talk to your doctor. There are situations where we wouldn't recommend that you tape your mouth at night. But in general, taping your mouth trains your brain to breathe in and out through the nose. When we breathe in and out through the nose, we release more nitric oxide into the bloodstream. That actually helps with oxygen delivery. Number 3, building a nighttime routine, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, that includes a breathing practice. That may look like slowing down the breath, paying attention to the breath, breathing in and out into the belly to engage the diaphragm. And it may look like inhaling for 4 or 5 seconds and exhaling for 6 or 8 seconds, a little bit longer on the exhale. This is not about meditating necessarily. It's about working with your physiology, giving your body the signal of relaxation, manually activating the vagus nerve to activate that rest and digest state. And number 4, just pay attention to your breath during the day. Are you breathing in and out through your nose? Breathing in and out through your mouth? If you catch yourself breathing through your mouth when you're at a meeting or on your computer or on a call, just notice that's the pattern. Are you over breathing? I hope you found this video helpful. The breath is the one system in our body that runs automatically, but we can also consciously engage it. And that makes it the most accessible lever that we have for changing our physiology, how we feel, how we sleep, how we perform, how we think. So isn't it interesting that we can work with something as easy and simple and free as our breath? And it might actually help us feel better more than a supplement or a routine or anything else that you may be hearing about in the sleep maxing viral culture. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a subscribe, drop a comment with questions or thoughts about your experience. If you want to learn more, join us for Book and Breath Club. We're currently reading The Breathing Cure by Patrick McQueen. This is hosted with Dr. Michelle Satuni. She's the co-host of the Sleep Takeout podcast. Check it out on YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And we meet the first Friday of every month at 2 p.m. Eastern. You can join virtually. It's free, donation-based. And I look forward to seeing you soon.